How you going? Welcome back again. This is part 2 of my 2022 in review. Hope you enjoyed the recent one where I talk about the learning curve and staying in the game. Check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, today, what I'm going to talk about, I'm really excited because it's probably my favorite thing in the world, and it's AFL. And specifically, how do you measure success? And using AFL as kind of a learning point there. And to kind of give relevance to what AFL even means to this whole thing, I'll tell a quick story about my AFL team last season and what I learned through our up and down season, and it miraculously led to us winning the grand final in extra time. An incredible game and a true honor to be a part of. That was amazing. I'll always remember that. And that's my first ever premiership after 15 plus years of playing. Incredible. And so, but it wasn't always set from the start, so I want to kind of speak to that. Anyways, a common theme during the year was the poor starts we seemed to have, which ultimately led to us losing winnable games and having to chase teams all the time. It was really frustrating, right? We just had shit starts, whether it was like a shit warm-up or the general attitudes of the team going into the game. It was just shit start after shit start after shit start. Really frustrating. And our coach actually came up with a cool slogan, which was, "It starts at the start." And it kind of became a meme, but it was funny. It was cool. The repetition of that definitely reminded us to focus on starting strong. And the thing is, and this is the core of this whole piece of advice, we never really established what a good start looks like. Like, obviously the quantitative measurement would be kicking a couple goals and being in front after the first quarter. Like, that's a good start. Most people can agree with, right? But unfortunately with AFL and just life in general, your efforts aren't always rewarded immediately, or the results aren't always clear for you to see off the bat. It can take like an immeasurable amount of time for results to show, and that's just how it is. As the slow starts kind of became more frustrating and more frequent, we had a team meeting to kind of talk about what we can do to fix the slow starts and all the other issues, right? And I'm pretty sure it was me. Could have been someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was me because it was on my mind the entire year leading up to that team chat. There was who alluded to the fact that we haven't exactly established what a good start is, and so we can't hang our heads low just because we don't even have a success criteria, right? And that's something we need to establish. And went on to say, as long as we start with the right attitude and intensity and motives, the score doesn't always matter initially. We can't always control the scoreboard because things out of our control will influence it, like bad umpire calls or unpredictable ball bounces or wind, etc. Sometimes it's just not in our favor, no matter how much intensity you play with. And that's not making excuses, it's generally accounting for unpredictability, which is a huge factor in AFL games. You never really know how it's going to go, how a ball's going to spin and bounce. It might work perfectly, it might not. And games, like life, can be a long and arduous journey before you start to see results. So does it mean you quit playing the game at a high intensity just because it's not showing on the scoreboard? Like, no, obviously not. And the same thing with how we approach our quotas in life, and particularly our goals day to day, and our work goals particularly. And so as we talked about redefining success and redefining the success criteria for a good start, I found that we had much better starts to the game near the end of the season. Even in the grand final, we finished the quarter trailing the team we were playing, and it was like 9-0 or something like that. Like, we were down by a goal and a bit. But we were doing all the right things. We had the right intensity, right attitudes. The execution just wasn't there. And our coach acknowledged that too, and that was very important. And so we stuck with it. We stuck with that intensity and the attitudes that we were playing with. And despite trailing a couple goals at times and even being up a couple goals at times as well, like, we eventually got the win. And so the overriding moral of the story is, I guess, roughly as follows. How you measure success is the first step to achieving success. If you expect major results early on and don't achieve them, you'll likely give up. But if you redefine what success is and breaking it into smaller parts, or focusing on the intangibles rather than just the quantitative measures, you'll be able to smash the little goals early on, giving yourself confidence and motivation to continue on that path. Because you now have prior proof of your abilities, the path ahead is more clear. It's about being kind to yourself for what you can realistically achieve and control. And try to let your ego pass and make an assessment on your previous experience in that arena that you're now seeking more success in. So again, how you measure success is the first step to achieving success. Really important thing that we found and I found last year. How you measure, I think it's such a beautiful thing to think about. How you measure success is essentially the determinant of how you're going to achieve it. How unrealistic you set those expectations, you're going to be so hard on yourself. But if you set realistic, achievable expectations and incremental, in an incremental fashion, like dot by dot, getting there instead of just a huge paragraph, right? That you're trying to write out. Start with dot points. So I'll say it for a third time. How you measure success is the first step to achieving success. Be kind to yourself. Really, be kind to yourself. Be realistic with yourself. And you'll be in your own zone, achieving things and being happy with yourself compared to other people who are, trying to compare themselves to other people's success and the goals that other people are achieving, forgetting that they themselves are an individual. So, one last time. How you measure success is the first step to achieving success. Let's get it. Thank you for listening. I hope that was interesting for any of my AFL fans out there. On the trot again this season. Keen for another, hopefully a shot at another grand final. Hopefully we can repeat. But and I think we'll establish a good success criteria this year. I'll make sure to say it because I don't know if it was me or someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was me. I'm just kind of covering my bases here, but I'm going to say it in a team meeting again about how we measure our success criteria, because that's really important, especially in a team sense. So be kind to yourself, give realistic measurements of what your success can be in whatever area you're trying to achieve success in, because that's the first step. Measuring it. So have a good day. Thanks for listening.